Oh, look, nothing to see here. Just a bunch of Islamists swarming the streets, calling for more terror attacks in celebration of October 7th. By the way, that's not Gaza. That's right here in New York City.
We must show up! We must show up! Stronger than we did the first October 7th! Louder than we did the first October 7th!
Well, the Islamic takeover of America is not coming. It's here right now. And we are exposing the dangers. It starts right now. Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. I am back. I had such a wonderful time at Lubbock at Cook's Garage over there with Turning Point USA chapter of Texas Tech. They were wonderful and lovely, and it was very inspiring to see all of those young people. But I'm happy to be back in studio. Not happy to see what's happening on the streets of New York, because this is something that I keep sounding the alarm on, and I feel like nobody wants to talk about it. Everyone wants to stick their heads in the sand when it comes to the Islamification of America. And then you have October 7th that rolled around. You have the anniversary of a horrific attack on innocent people in Israel. And you have, in celebration of that, people actively taking to the streets, calling for terror attacks here in America, which is what I keep telling you guys. You think that it's just, oh, they just have a problem with Israel. No, they're coming for us as well. You've all these people waving Islamic Palestinian flags, swarming outside of Fox News, of all places, in New York City yesterday. It's very hard to believe that we have allowed ourselves to be put in the position that this is what's happening in America. And if that isn't enough to worry you, I want you to listen to exactly what they were calling for yesterday.
We did not act enough! We did not act enough! If we acted enough! The headline behind me would read, Gaza has been liberated. So our work is not done! We must show up! Stronger than we did the first October 7th!
What?
Louder than we did the first October 7th! Clear that we are not going anywhere. We will keep fighting until Palestine is free.
Now, you could say, if he hadn't have referenced October 7th, stronger than the first October 7th, you could say he's just making a benign statement. No, actually, this is clearly a terroristic threat. This is clearly a terroristic threat. And my opinion, I would hope that Pam Bondi and Donald Trump share that same opinion. You should not be allowed to come into my country and spew terroristic threats and not expect to get denaturalized and deported. Now, when you consider the state of New York City, which is, of course, where all of this was, approximately 9% of New York City residents are Muslim. So when you consider that this is a city of 8.4 million people, that comes out to be like 750,000 Muslims. Guys, we're almost to the point where we can't put the genie back in the bottle. I think it's time that we start talking about this and stop being afraid to hurt people's feelings. Especially when you talk about how they are infiltrating at the highest levels, how it is a fact that we have a Muslim Democrat socialist, which don't get me started on how that all works, Zohran Mamdani, who is about to win the mayoral race in New York City in November. I mean, there's basically no way he doesn't win. And I don't want you guys coming at me. Check this out. I don't want you guys coming at me, looking at that and being like, well, you should be talking more about Curtis Sliwa. Well, he still has a chance. I don't think so. You got Mamdani at 47%, Andrew Cuomo as an independent at 29%, Eric Adams at 7%. And so this was the last poll before Eric Adams dropped out. So take that 7 away, add it to disperse it between Mamdani and Cuomo. And then you've got Curtis Sliwa coming in at 11%. I'm sorry. It is my hope. It is my greatest hope that Mamdani does not clench this. I don't see how that's possible. I don't see how that's possible. So now we're talking about someone like that guy becoming the mayor of New York City. And the problem is that the tenets of Islam, the tenets of their holy book, completely contradict the tenets of this country and the tenets that this country was founded on. They're not compatible with one another. And it should not be controversial to say that. Great example of that. Yesterday, Mamdani marked October 7th, taking aim at Israel rather than Hamas. He had this statement. It was one sentence mourning all of the victims of Hamas and then 3 paragraphs attacking Israel. Like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like those women and those children really didn't do anything to deserve being murdered in their beds, to deserve being tortured and beaten, and all of the hostages that were held hostage for, what is it now, guys? 2 years? I don't know. I think maybe they deserved a little bit better than one sentence mourning them followed by 3 paragraphs attacking Israel. So at least you have some Republicans. There are very few. There are a very select few who will actually call this what this is. One of whom is Randy Fine, who he's calling for Mamdani to be stripped of his citizenship because he's little more than a Muslim terrorist and should be deported. Mamdani has accepted tens of thousands in donations from the Council on American Islamic Relations. Now, that is the same, if you do the CAIR. Oh, it's CARE. Yeah, that group with reported ties to terrorist organizations. It's just that same CARE that he's accepted all of this money from. And his funding from CARE affiliated donors has, of course, is accompanied by fueled claims of Islamic insurgency. And there are also reports alleging that he funnels campaign money to radical allies aiming to, quote, seize state power. I don't know what it's going to take for all of these. It's mostly like white liberals who want to sit here and tell you why it's racist or xenophobic or mostly Islamophobic to say that just because of the color of his skin, you're calling for him to be deported. No, it's actually has nothing to do with the color of his skin. And if you, as a white person, say that you have allegiance to, Hamas and Islam, I think you should leave too. It's dangerous for this country, and we shouldn't tolerate it anymore. It's not like we don't have the blueprint of what's happening right now in the UK, because we do. And when you look at the case of New York actually has the most mosques compared to any other state. It's 343, followed by California, 304, Texas at 224. Texas and Florida are 3rd and 4th place, followed by New Jersey. Texas and Florida are 3rd and 4th place for states with the most mosques, at least back from 2020, which is the most recent that we could find. Guys, this is all by design. This is all intentional, okay? Now, I've been doing some exposés on this, in particular here in the state of Texas, that, we've got not just the epic city right there that you can see, but there is a new one that I know. We heard that Governor Abbott was putting a stop to it. Well, tell me why in Murphy, Texas, the sleepy little town of Murphy, Texas, you've got all of these neighborhoods, or at least one in particular, that have all of these Islamic names for the streets. And this Islamic Association of Murphy is bulldozing homes to create a mosque that is comparable to the biggest mosque in DFW. And Texas is not even the worst of it, right? But if it's happening in Texas, it's happening everywhere, which means that's why Michigan looks the way that it does. This is Dearborn, Michigan. This is not Iran. This is not anywhere in the Middle East. This is not Turkey. This is Dearborn, Michigan, the largest Muslim population in the United States. 55% of people there are Muslim. You don't think it's a takeover yet? They hold the majority in Michigan, which is why it looks like a shithole third world country. It basically is. So it's not just Dearborn. You've got Minneapolis, you've got New York, you've got New Jersey, you've got Texas, you've got Florida. Everywhere this mass resettlement happens, you have culture shifts that follow. And you'll notice that the request to assimilate is only given to Americans. Americans are the only ones who are expected to just give up their traditions, to just cede all of this ground for fear you might be called an Islamophobe. Okay, and what are they going to do? Blow me up with a suicide belt? I mean, that's kind of the problem that I had with them in the first place. So you'd just be proving my point. There are very few. We're trying to get Brandon Gill on the show because I will give a shout out to Brandon Gill. He is my congressman, and he is one of the few. I mentioned Randy Fine. Brandon Gill has also been very vocal about not tolerating this anymore. It's not personal. We just can't tolerate it as a nation. We can't tolerate it as a country anymore. And people need to stop being so scared and start speaking out about it. All right. Make sure that you subscribe to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Make sure you do that. And also hit the like button. It'll help us in the algorithm. Turn on the notifications, hit the bell, comment on the video, all of that fun stuff. And we'll be back with more. We want to thank our sponsor this segment, Patriot Mobile. I love my friends over at Patriot Mobile. If you don't have Patriot Mobile for this device that you put in your pocket and text people on all day, you need to. Because here's the thing with Patriot Mobile. They are on the front lines. They are putting their money where their mouths are in the fight to keep this country conservative and Christian. They are at every single event that I go to. It is sponsored by Patriot Mobile. They are out there flipping school boards to make sure that you guys have conservative school board members. They are on the front lines. So if you have not yet switched over, if you've not yet visited their website, you can get the same nationwide coverage. You can keep your phone, you can get a new one. You can keep your phone number, you can get a new one. You can customize it however you'd like at Patriot Mobile, but you will know that you are not funding the left anymore, which you are doing if you are still with Big Mobile. Take part in the parallel economy, okay? I love Patriot Mobile. I love the founders. I love everyone who works there. They are all missionally aligned. So please go support them. All I'm asking you to do, go to patriotmobile.com/Sara. Check out their plans. Odds are they're going to save you money. And on top of that, you can use promo code Sara for a free month of service. It is patriotmobile.com/Sara, promo code Sara. So you have James Comey, who pleaded not guilty this morning. And I want to get into him. Well, I want to talk about him. And I want to talk about the circus that was outside of the courtroom. I read something on X that was like, oh, David French and all of these losers were outside the courtroom trying to get media access, crying, I can't believe we're actually here. James Comey is in trouble. He's getting dragged into court. I can't believe we are actually here. Oh, where was that energy? I don't know, a couple years ago when Donald Trump had his home raided, when Mar-a-Lago was raided. Where was that energy when you had perp walks? Remember? Now all of a sudden they're like, oh, you can't have perp walks. You can't do the perp walks. Tell that to Steve Bannon. Tell that to Roger Stone. I know they would say, oh, well, there was no perp walk on Roger Stone. CNN just happened to be parked outside Roger Stone's home. And just coincidentally, it was the same time as an early morning FBI raid. And they just, I don't know. It was like everything aligned and CNN just guessed correctly. Yeah, right. So as we go through what is happening with James Comey and some others that I want to bring up, I just want to state for the record, just to be clear, Donald Trump should 100% go after his political enemies. And it's not about vindication. It's not about revenge at all, actually. It's because if they wanted to create new rules, which they did, the left definitely decided that there were new rules that were going to be created, that they were going to weaponize against Donald Trump. Okay, let's use those same rules. They should apply to you, the people who bent them in the first place, because if there's one thing about justice, it has to be consistent. It has to be objective and consistent and consistently applied. And if political prosecutors and officials can target a former president, they better make sure that their noses are clean. They better make sure all of these deep state actors who have gone along with the weaponization of government agencies against Donald Trump in an unprecedented manner, they should be judged by the same legal and moral standard. And so we can get into James Comey, but let's talk first about the Chicago mayor. While President Trump is calling for him to be in jail, he said Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers. Governor Pritzker also 100% in agreement. Why hasn't it happened yet? Now, of course, all of these retarded leftists are like, oh my gosh, Donald Trump said we should be in jail, including Brandon Johnson himself. Let me play what he had to say.
This president is unstable, unhinged, a double-minded individual that, quite frankly, is a threat to our democracy. And it's certainly not the first time that Donald Trump has called for the arresting of a black man unjustly.
Oh.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay firm as the mayor of this amazing city, which was voted 9 years in a row the best big city in America. And we're going to defend all of Chicago.
That is so wild to bring up arrests of black men, because that's already happening at a disproportionate rate, especially in Chicago. So that's not like Donald Trump. The odds were just against you in the first place, Brandon. But you're not defending all of Chicago. You notice that he just said that. He's not defending all of Chicago. You had Chicago police that were ordered to ignore Border Patrol agents' pleas for help while surrounded by angry mob of protesters. Remember that? Remember that? It's not really defending all of Chicago, which, of course, was the incident that Donald Trump was referring to. And in response to all of this, Brandon Johnson doubled down on ICE because, as we mentioned in an earlier show, he signed an executive order to create ICE-free zones in the city. By the way, still a lot of crime happening, as it turns out. They have one of the highest murder rates in the country. 331 people have been killed in Chicago so far this year. So I don't know, Brandon. It feels like you're not really defending all of Chicago at all, actually. It feels like you are using your own city and your own citizens as a political pawn to score points because Orange Man bad, and leaving your own citizens at greater risk. I think they would agree. They would like it if you would clean up the streets of Chicago. But then you have Governor J.B. Pritzker, who has never met a donut he didn't like. And I don't think that we should forget how complicit he is in all of this as well. Clearly, the guy wants to run for president. Clearly, he wants to be the Democrat nominee because he's just going all in on just opposing every single thing that Donald Trump does. He is, and on top of that, he is the one of the few who welcomed all of these, Texas defectors here in the Texas House who fled the state because they didn't want to vote on things. They didn't want to vote on redistricting. And he was like, come to my state, the free state of Illinois. Forget what we did during COVID and forget that we're actually like the king of redistricting here. No. Forget all of that. Come here to the free state of Illinois. And you have J.B. Pritzker accusing Donald Trump of having dementia. He says Donald Trump is deploying troops to Chicago due to, quote, dementia and obsessive fixations. Again, we might take you seriously if you showed that same energy with Joe Biden, who was an actual potato in the White House. We had a weekend at Bernie's president. He didn't even know which way to go off stage. He was tripping all the time. He didn't even know where he was. He was thanking dead people in the crowd. Like, homeboy was gone. And JB Pritzker had nothing to say. Now he wants to say Donald Trump has dementia. Like, it's laughable. It's honestly laughable. And the fact that Chicago's violent crime rate is up double digits under Brandon Johnson, and you have JB Pritzker's migrant crisis, illegal alien crisis, it's draining taxpayer money. So if misconduct in office, dereliction of duty, all of these terms were applied the way they applied to lawfare to President Trump, they should be locked up. They should be locked up. Just like I hope James Comey is. I mentioned he was in court today. I'm not guilty. I'm only guilty of loving my country. Okay. All right, buddy. We'll see how that turns out for you. He's going to trial January, which really sucks because I was hoping to have this to look forward to for the holidays, because nothing would make a better Christmas present than James Comey going to prison. He spent literal years prosecuting a fake narrative against President Trump on purpose to sully his reputation and drag his name through the mud. He deserves it. Now, he's not the only one. I'm not done yet. The list goes on. New York AG Letitia James. She wanted to bankrupt President Trump. She fought for that. I know we needed a flowchart at the time. This is the woman who you can't ever really tell where she's looking exactly, but she was the one who fought for $500 million real estate penalty against him, which was later thrown out. And she was like, actually, you overvalued your property and you harmed the bank when you got your loan. And by the way, the bank was like, actually, no, he was fine. We're all happy with the deal. He paid his money. There's no harm, no foul, nothing. And she's like, no, actually, let me tell you how he broke the law. Oh, well, turns out, remember me saying, keep your noses clean, guys. If you're going to come after him, make sure your noses are clean. Uh-oh. How about those mortgage fraud allegations, Tish? Speaking of mortgage fraud, Adam Schiff. He spent all of his time in Congress trying to impeach Trump and trying to accuse President Trump of colluding with Russia and using his position on a committee to claim that he had insider information that he never had, to try to claim to CNN and MSNBC for literal years. Just wait. We've got the info. Just wait. We're going to release it soon. Just wait. If you saw what I saw, you would know that Donald Trump definitely colluded with Russia. It was all a lie. Except Adam didn't remember to keep his nose clean either, because he's also under investigation for mortgage fraud. So that leads me to good old Fani Willis. I know she prefers it if you call her Fani, but she's not fancy enough for that. She was leading the trial in Georgia against President Trump over election interference. I know they really care about election interference until it's them who are doing election interference by creating, Operation Arctic Frost, by spying on Republicans, by censoring social media platforms, by removing people from society who bring up Hunter Biden's laptop, by pressuring big tech to help them in this. They really hate election interference, except when they are actually doing it, and they are the only ones actually doing it, it's not a problem. Well, she was leading that trial in Georgia against Trump, but she was disqualified over her inappropriate relationship with Nathan Wade. She's under investigation too, as she should be, and so many more. This should not be a comprehensive list. There need to be more, because this is about accountability. This is about the fact that you guys changed the rules, and that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, I would have preferred it if the last 4 years never happened. I would have preferred it. Honestly, it dates back longer than that, because this was happening in Donald Trump's first term. But I would have preferred it if you guys had decided not to say, you know what, screw the rules. We're going to play to win, and we're going to lie, cheat, and steal because the ends justifies the means. I would have preferred it if we never went there. But you guys went there. You guys went there, and you guys decided to set a new precedent. And now that precedent should apply to you as well. And I hope that Donald Trump remembers the 91 indictments and 34 felony counts, the mugshot, the court dates. I hope he remembers that. Because one of the greatest mistakes that he made was not locking Hillary Clinton up when he said that he was going to do it on the campaign trail. We need to do something to make sure that they understand and take the threats seriously this time. Because we're past that. And they're all criminals. And they all deserve to be locked up. All right. Got to take another quick break. And we're going to be back with our guest today. First, we want to thank our sponsor, BlueChew. BlueChew. There it is. Yep. So here's the deal. If you have ED, it is what it is. It kind of sucks, but it doesn't have to, because then you could go get BlueChew, which is awesome because you can do it all online. You shouldn't be embarrassed, but I know guys are weird about it and they get embarrassed, and you don't have to be because it's all done online. They ship it discreetly to your door. But what I would also tell you is if you just want to spice things up, maybe things are a little vanilla and you're like, hey, let's have a party with your spouse, of course, guys. Be married. Yep. Be married and do lots of that. And you can do lots more with BlueChew. They're made in the USA, prepared and shipped directly to your door. And you are going to talk to a licensed doctor before they send any of that to you. So listen, you're going to get your first month of BlueChew for free when you use promo code Sara. You're going to pay $5 shipping. That's it. Use promo code Sara over at BlueChew.com. Welcome to the show. I can't believe he's wearing sleeves. Jason Buttrell, chief researcher of the Glenn Beck program. To what do I owe the pleasure? Wearing a button-down shirt.
My wife made me wear this shirt.
Oh,
I'm so pissed. She was like, you need to stop dressing like a 19-year-old. I was like, I don't want to grow up. I don't want to. You can't make me. And she made me.
You can't make me. We see how that turned out.
I know. I lost.
Jason's been married long enough that he's highly trained.
I know. Yeah, I know how it goes. You guys know too. Don't look at me like that.
That's fair. So I want to get into some other stuff, but I wanted to kind of circle back to what I was talking about earlier with Mamdani over there in New York, who there's basically no way he doesn't win the election at this point for mayor. And then meanwhile, you've got what he's doing and what he's all about and his ties to CARE. And then you've got the anniversary of October 7th, and all of the streets of New York City were packed with all of these Islamists. Stephen, I don't know if you have the footage.
We did not act enough.
We did not act enough.
If we acted enough. The headline behind me would read, Gaza has been liberated. So our work is not done.
Our work is not done.
We must show up.
We must show up.
Stronger than we did the first October 7th.
Stronger than we did the first October 7th. Cut it. That's all. That's all you need to hear. That, like I said, you might be able to say that it was a benign statement if he hadn't have directly referenced October 7th. He directly referenced October 7th and said we need to show up stronger than we did the first October 7th. Oh, are you telling me there's going to be another one?
Yeah. Can we just start this conversation off, Sarah, with how incredibly gay the presentation was? Some guy screaming like a crazed lunatic while everybody pauses and then repeats what he says.
I know.
How laborious is that? I'd be so freaking bored. This is
they do.
Not even the left sucks at doing this stuff, but now the Islamic section of it, which is now somehow oddly tied to, I don't understand.
I know the Muslim Democrat Socialist. I'm like, what? Okay,
right. And then, just look at, the history of useful idiots.
Yeah.
So basically that's every person on the radical left. You're a useful idiot because once the people that you want to get in power, you will be the first ones that they will line up and shoot.
Right.
Because they don't need you anymore.
Exactly.
They don't need the troublemakers anymore.
Yeah.
But look at this. Mm-hmm. Look at this. Like, who do you think is going to win in this whole, red-green alliance? So red-green, the Marxists, leftists, and green, the Islamic alliance. Who do you think is going to win in the end of that? It's not going to be these nerds that you see on Libs of TikTok when she posts those mugshots
right.
of these dorks.
Yep.
So basically, they were the nerdiest of nerd virgins in high school that we used to laugh at.
No offense to virgins. You should save yourself for marriage.
Absolutely. But they were the dorks, right? And now they're not only the dorks, but they're the incel dorks that, like, I don't know, suddenly decide they want to be tough guys.
Right.
Do you think they're going to win, or the radical Islamists that are praising October 7th? And you're absolutely right that they are absolutely doing that. They're praising October 7th. So basically, when they say that, they're saying that they're going to kill thousands of people. Mm-hmm. When they say these things, believe them when they say them. Mm-hmm. Don't pretend they're saying something else. Mm-hmm. They're saying they're going to kill thousands of people.
That's a terroristic threat, and I don't know why that guy has not been arrested yet.
And you know what that was called? It was called Flood New York City. It was named after Al-Aqsa Flood, October 7th.
Oh, geez.
So even the name of it was a callback to murdering thousands of people.
Right.
It's the Londonification of New York City. It's happening right now and all over the United States when we just pretend it doesn't happen, like right here in Texas.
Can I just also, I do want to bring up one more thing on this, and then I know we've got some other stuff that we can talk about, but just because I'm tired of people being like, oh, we can't say that, it's Islamophobic. I am so tired of seeing Muslims who work at the airport. I'm like, what? Like, in full hijab and like speaking a different language. And I'm like, this is unsettling. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. If anyone feels any type of way about it, if they're offended, I don't know what to tell you. It just makes me very uncomfortable because it's like all I see who works at the airports now. That just seems like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I draw a very hard line between, like, as we've had this conversation before, like some Muslims that I know versus Islamists that we see. What's troubling and what I can agree with you on with that is that there is an abnormally large amount of Islamists that are out there right now.
And how would you know?
Tons.
How would you know until it happens?
Right. And, and I don't. For one, I don't see anything being done about it. Two, I see people that are just like making excuses for clear Islamic behavior. Like when you see these videos all the time in places like London or Europe, you're going to start to see more of them here when they all just kind of like take over a street.
Yep.
And they all do prayer and they blast it on loudspeakers, and they don't do that in Middle Eastern countries. They do not do that. They don't take over streets and do this. So why then are they doing it? Because it's a symbol of power.
Yeah, it's a flex.
It's a flex. It's domination. Is what it is. Yeah. You need to be very, very clear on why they're doing these things. It's Islamic behavior. They don't give a crap about your laws. They don't give a crap about your country. It's about takeover. Mm-hmm. And you need to start waking up. When they say they're going to do these things, you need to start listening to them and believing them, or we're going to be screwed.
Now, another, just switching gears here, another group of people that you need to believe when they tell you something are the group of people who say, we're coming after your kids, just like the San Francisco Gay Dudes Choir, the LGBT community. They're like, we're coming after your kids. You should believe them, because despite all of these drag queens who were like, you're accusing us of grooming kids. We just want the all ages drag shows because it's art. That's all. We just want to expose them to art. Oh, interesting. A drag queen was arrested in Arizona after he was accused of having sex with a 13-year-old boy. Huh. Crazy how that happens. Michael Browder. That's that lovely. Yep. It's amazing what makeup can do, Michael. 35 years old, said, I thought the boy was 18 or 19. That's what I thought. And so these are the people, once again, when they tell you who they are, believe them. It's just so interesting. And I always hear this, Jason. I always hear from this particular special interest group. They'll say, well, what about the pastors? Well, I'm like, all the pastors are going to jail. This is one instance of very few of drag queens that are actually getting held accountable. I see them do all sorts of lewd behavior and stuff in front of kids, and they seem to have some sort of like loophole most of the time that nobody wants to hold them accountable because they don't want the heat from the Rainbow Mafia. So I'm like, I am very objective on this. If anyone messes with kids, they should get the book thrown at them. It's just that it's a little bit disproportional, not in who's committing it, but who is actually getting the actual book thrown at them.
Can I ask you a question first?
Sure.
Well, is it actually called the San Francisco Gay Dudes Choir?
No.
Okay.
It's not. But I do think it is the San Francisco gay men's choir.
Okay, so that would still be the next joke I was going to tell, or just maybe admission. That's what I called the gay or the choir group when I was in high school. Anyway, I just called it that. But they just took it and ran with it.
Okay, but this is great. In true gay man's fashion, it is not the gay man's choir. It is called the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's even
A little more fancy than choir.
It's flamboyant. That's what it is.
Hello, we're the chorus.
This whole thing. So they want to talk about churches, or if they talk about Catholic priests, or talk about pastors, and this, which is ridiculous because we want them to be found out. We want those people to go to jail. We want them to be punished.
Also, they're doing it behind closed doors. In the dark where no one can see. Drag queens are doing it in broad daylight.
And that you're going exactly where I was going to go with this is, and it's so obvious. So like you wouldn't even expect that. We're glad that in those cases where you don't expect it, that it's found out as soon as possible. But in this case, why wouldn't you think that something is weird when a grown man puts on makeup and dresses like a woman and then climbs up a stripper pole? Like, what? I mean, people are like, oh, it's funny. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, bless your heart, you're just absolutely freaking insane that you feel like you want to do that.
Right.
Why would we take our kids to family, gatherings and say, oh, it's family friendly, it's a drag queen? What? And then be like, oh my lands, he ended up being a pedophile. No shit, right? No shit. Come on, this is so stupid.
That's what I'm saying. When
stupid people will fight with you on social media about it. Like,
I know.
You bigot.
I know.
You suspect that? I'm like, you don't? Are you kidding? You don't? So stupid. Society is gone.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the first instinct that you should have had to think something was amiss was the fact that he wanted to twerk in front of a young child.
Was that your first clue? Was that what it was?
Yeah, I think so. All right, let's go ahead. I want to talk about what is happening in the California governor's race. This is really,
oh my gosh,
really amazing stuff. But let's go ahead and let's take a quick break now, and then we'll be back with that. So I want to switch gears here, like I said, talk about the California gubernatorial race. And Katie Porter is the leading Democrat in that race. And I want to play. She sat down with the CBS affiliate, and they were trying to interview her and ask her the same questions that they asked all of the candidates. And it did not go well, as a spoiler alert. Here's some of that.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, ma'am?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're thinking.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position.
You don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't think
I feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody. So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that
well, to those voters. Okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered
I don't care.
follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list.
So I did see, I think it was Comfortably Smug on X, was like, hey, I support Katie Porter. She has the right to eat as much as she wants and dunk on reporters. And I was like, all right, fair. But it's kudos to the reporter, I think, because when she said, that's it, I'm calling it, she kept going. She's like, well, the cameras are still rolling, so I'm going to get as much as I can out of her because I know this is going to be good content. Instead of
She
just
didn't
being
stand up, did she?
no. So that's why she's like, so you're really not going to do this. It was very smart of her.
I was wondering if her people were like behind the camera going, sit down, because you already torpedoed your campaign right now. You will further drive it off the cliff if you actually stand up and take off. Because that was, what was that, CBS reporter, local CBS reporter?
Yep.
I can almost
CBS
guarantee
Sacramento.
she's on the side of this dude.
You would think.
It was this dude named Katie.
Yeah.
Because I'm not convinced.
Katie Porter.
That would have been my first question. Not about like getting Trump voters to vote for you. It would have been like, are you really a man? Yes or no? But let's just get that off. Let's just get that out there right now, because.
Can we also say that look at
dude,
her staff, Steven, you got to get one with like her eyes like so intense, because you got to imagine her staff must hate her if they agreed to that lighting and that just all of that. Like look at that. That is crazy lib SSRI eyes.
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That is totally crazy lib eyes.
And the picture with both of them together, she looks like Shrek up against like one of the citizens within Farquhart's kingdom. No, it looks like Shrek and Farquhar. That's what it looks like when the two of them are together. Am I right or am I right?
A mashup.
Yeah. Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
So things are not going great in California, just so you know. We'll see how that works out for Katie, but she couldn't handle basic questions. The Democrats are just used to having the left, because they're used to having the media as another arm of their own party. They've forgotten what it's like to have to actually answer questions.
Right. And now that Biden isn't in the White House and Democrats don't have complete control of the government, you have to now deal with some contentious issues.
Yep.
Right. I mean, there's a real problem now, and with things like immigration or whatever. You just pick whatever they've screwed up over the past few years that a vast majority of the country voted for.
Yep.
So they might not. And I used to live in California. There's a lot of, I don't know, like Schwarzenegger-esque style Republicans out there, or Democrats. They're both kind of in that vein. They're not conservative, but they're a little more sane, right? They're not going to bash Christianity. They're a little more religious. They're just a little bit more sane.
Yeah.
Kind of like maybe in the Fetterman sense.
Right. Yeah.
So not conservative, but
Yeah,
more sane.
Sure.
And there are a ton of those people that you have to now answer to. You have to answer the question as people are grappling with. There's a lot like Northern California, middle of California. They're grappling with a lot of immigration issues. There's actually a lot of oddly conservative areas within California that, because of the way they've gerrymandered everything, they don't really matter.
Right.
But you have to answer those questions. They're not used to it.
They're not. Well, and you mentioned having to deal with the fact that people voted for these policies. People voted for ICE to come in and get rid of the illegal criminals. Let's move on to Zach Bryan, the country singer Zach Bryan. Yes.
Can I make one more point?
Sure.
I'm sorry. Back on that really quick. I have seen Gavin Newsom melt down in the exact same way. A lot when he's like trying to explain himself.
I've seen Joe Biden do it.
Yeah.
They all do it. Kamala.
And people will just turn their brains off and still vote for them for some odd reason. So it would not surprise me at all if this woman ends up still getting elected.
She just is clearly like completely insufferable, Karen. I really hope that that's not the case, but it is California, so stranger things have happened. So Zach Bryan he's going like full retard. And he's
never do that.
Yeah, if you know anything about Tropic Thunder, you never go full retard. He's released a teaser of his new song, Bad News. And it's all about condemning ICE raids and the fading of the red, white, and blue. So some of the lyrics are, I heard the cops came, cocky MFers, ain't they? And ICE is gonna come bust down your door. Got some bad news, the fading of the red, white, and blue. The kids are scared and all alone. Oh, it's so sad that we're deporting criminals. Oh my gosh. Except that the majority of Americans agree with deporting people in the United States illegally. Still. We voted for this, okay? The New York Times, of all places, have a poll that just came out. 54% still support the idea that we should be deporting immigrants living in the United States illegally, deport them back to their home countries. I don't know why you would blow up your country music of all genres. Country music. Why would you blow up your whole career in country music to go after something that literally the majority of Americans just said we should do? And it's not like it's a crazy controversial thing. Like, you know, it would be controversial if the majority of Americans said, hey, we should be sterilizing and mutilating an entire generation of youth in the name of gender affirming care. Now that maybe we could be like, hey, I'm going to fight back against this. It is literally just saying, hey, if people are here illegally, especially if they're criminals, and I don't just mean by way of coming into this country, which I actually would still call them a criminal and they need to be deported. But I mean, there are a lot of people who are just saying, I want the people who have come to this country and are currently or previously, since they've been here, committing crimes to be returned to their home country. That has never been controversial until Orange Man Bad.
Yeah, you are exactly correct. He done went full retard. He was writing those lyrics, farting in the tub and giggling his ass off as he did it. He went full retard. There's plenty of other things to write country music lyrics to. There's still men losing their dogs while also getting divorced or losing their girlfriends in the same day. You could have written a country song about that because there's about 100 million of them. I'm joking. I like country music, but I've seen a lot of these people that are doing crap like this with seemingly no regard for their career. You look at Bud Light. You look at like South Park now. Yeah. South Park now.
So conservatives can take a joke.
Conservatives can take a joke, but for me, I've seen a lot of people I'm derailing this on South Park, but like if you look at South Park, a lot of conservatives are saying, "Hey, look, it's fine. We can take being made fun of. This is how we're different from them." Agreed, but
I don't really want to watch it.
I cannot look back at the last 4 years of silence when you did nothing,
right?
Because who else did that? Saturday Night Live did that.
Yeah.
We know they're hacks.
Yeah.
South Park didn't look like hacks before, but now they do look like hacks.
Right.
Because they didn't do a thing for 4 years. The only excuse I can give them is it was beyond parody. It was beyond making fun of because the joke was right there in front of us.
Right.
And they were elected to high office. But no,
Which then it's like, well, doesn't that just make their jobs easier? You don't even have to really write the comedy. It's already written itself. You're just acting it out.
Right. So I don't understand why he would do something like this because you just became like every other person like that does music from the coast, like in California or New York or something like that. I'm not even listening to that crap because I can't stand the people that are doing it.
Right.
Now you're putting yourself in that position. You're becoming like one of them.
Yep.
That's all you're doing. And us as a country, as Americans, we're sick of that crap.
I know.
We're sick of it. We will choose not to listen to music. We will choose not to go to the movies if it means we have to endure any more of this.
Exactly right. And this is also the guy who allegedly was abusive to his girlfriend. That came out a couple months ago. So Zach Bryan is not well, and I won't be listening to his music, but it's okay because I never did. So Jason Buttrell, chief researcher of the Glenn Beck program, thank you so much.